The changes at the top of Formula One, which resulted in long-term boss Bernie Ecclestone being edged out of his job last night, have raised some concerns about the sport's governing body. The FIA, as it's known, approved the sale to an American media group. So far, so good. Unless you're Bernie Ecclestone, that's business. But it turns out there might be a bit more to all this than meets the eye, because the very same governing body, the FIA, had a financial stake in the Formula One deal worth £55 million.
Deal done, Bernie Ecclestone ousted. Formula One's new owners say they want a fresh start. But the sport's governing body stands to make millions from this takeover, and some MPs have serious questions.
There's not a reflection on Liberty's plans for Formula One or whether they are adequate as an owner, but did the FIA discharge their duties responsibly? Were they conflicted, as it appears they were, and how was that allowed to happen?
The Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile has been regulating Formula One since it drew up the rules in 1946. It claims to be independent, but that claim has been challenged in the past. In 2001, the European Commission looked into the way Formula One was run and concluded that the role of the FIA should be limited to that of a sports regulator with no commercial conflicts of interest. But documents show that in 2013, the FIA bought 45 million shares in Formula One, the equivalent of a 1% stake, for $450,000. Now, last week, as the regulator, the FIA approved Liberty's takeover of Formula One, and as a result, it is set to receive $80 million. The journalist who uncovered the FIA stake says Liberty did not disclose it during the takeover process.
I've not seen any, and I've been through virtually all, as good as all of the filings to the Securities and Exchange Commission. The FIA itself didn't put it in any of its filings, as I mentioned. The only place really that it's ever been is in the company register, shareholders register of the parent company in Jersey.
The new boss of Formula One told me he's comfortable with the money the FIA is getting and sees no conflict of interest.
They owned a percentage. They got a fair value for what they owned.
But the FIA is the regulator. It's supposed to operate at arm's length from the sport, and yet it had a clear incentive to approve this takeover. Isn't that a conflict of interest?
My experience with them is a handful of months. They regulate the sport, in a fair and even-handed way.
Lewis Hamilton has become the most...
Formula One is a global success story and has made its biggest stars, like Lewis Hamilton, multi-millionaires. The regulator has done pretty well too, but tonight it declined to comment on the issue. Joel Hills, News at 10.